In the realm of Oz, Dorothy, Glinda, and all of their companions find themselves surrounded by several fire-breathing wolf creatures that have been sent by one of the wicked witches that claim these lands. As the wolves close in, the Scarecrow is like, fuck this, and he runs for cover. But as Glinda blasts the wolves with a magical beam, Thorn, the lion's man, proceeds to lay into the wolves with his blade as he's backed up by several half-men wielding bladed weapons. But the wolves are relentless as they close in, all breathing fire, forcing Dorothy to retreat. But as Glinda puts up a magical barrier, the group is pushed back by one particularly big creature. Now as the creature charges, Dorothy recalls her time back at the Kansas City ranch as she picks up a red cloth in an attempt to lure the creature away. Now this actually works as the creature goes crashing into some pillars, giving the group a little bit of space to deal with the rest of the wolves. But as the wolves are unyielding, the group gets some much needed backup in the form of a metal man that appears to be wielding a big ass axe. The wolves proceed to charge the metal man, but like nothing, he violently impales and mutilates several creatures, driving them back. Now Thorn, Dorothy, and the half-men do not know who the metal man is, but they're more than happy to accept his help. As the group finishes the rest of the creatures, the metal man introduces himself as the woodsman. Dorothy asks why he would be called that when he's made of metal, but some time ago, he was actually human and he was an actual woodsman, but he ended up becoming cursed as he desired something that was not his. He tried to reach out and touch it, but that something did not belong to him. It belonged to the witch, and thus he was cursed. But elsewhere, in another part of Oz, the Wicked Witch of the West confronts her sister, letting her know she wants that scepter, the same scepter that Dorothy has already acquired the hilt of. Thora tells her sister it will soon be hers, as her next creation will see to that. But elsewhere, in the fortress of the deceased Wicked Witch of the East, Glinda, Dorothy, and the rest of the gang make their way inside as the Scarecrow points them towards the dungeon. They're looking for a man named Graft, as Scarecrow informs them that this is where she kept her most hated prisoners. As they get to the lower reaches of the dungeon, they find the man they're looking for. Dorothy introduces herself as Graft says this must be the false blood that can wield the scepter. They gather around a fire and talk about a prophecy of an alleged false blood that's said to be able to wield the scepter. But as things get late, the group decides to get some rest, with the Scarecrow offering to take first watch. But the Lion's Man is like, fuck that, he doesn't trust the Scarecrow, as the Scarecrow did cower out earlier. Now Dorothy offers to keep watch with the Scarecrow, but as night falls and everybody sleeps, a strange red shimmer creeps into the building. Whatever this mysterious red aura is goes to Graft as they proceed to have a conversation. But by the time daybreak comes, the group can't help but notice that Graft is dead. Now Lion's Man Thorn immediately blames the Scarecrow, but Glinda doesn't sense anything suspicious, so she says it may just be coincidence, but Lion's Man Thorn does not believe in coincidences. Nevertheless, the group make their way through the haunted forest because before Graft died, he pointed them towards the Temple of Despair. As several of the half-men argue, Dorothy asks why they argue so much, but the half-men tell them of their curse. The curse was put on them by Zamora, mother of the witches, as when she traveled to these lands long ago, she was recruiting creatures for evil purposes. She wanted the half-men for their skills in weapon crafting and armor, but when the half-men resisted, she cursed them. Legend says all the happiness left them that day and they became one of the angriest races in all of the realms. But as the group continue through the haunted forest, they finally come across what appears to be the Temple of Despair. Now Glinda tells everyone to hang back as the temple is a very dangerous place. But as Glinda goes to retrieve the second piece of the scepter, little does she know that Thora lurks in the bushes as she holds a hive in her hand. Thora uses her magic to increase the size of the hornets, turning them into a deadly swarm. But as Glinda reaches inside a pillar to retrieve the scepter, her hand is trapped by several sharp blades as several more spinning blades close in on her. Now Glinda is completely immobilized, and to make matters worse, a swarm of deadly hornets close in on her. All of her companions proceed to take bladed weapons to the hornets in a attempt to keep them away from Glinda. But in the midst of all the commotion, one of the half-men jams their blade into the back of the pillar, while the other jams his blade into the top and frees Glinda. Now, even when death fails to claim its prize, sometimes death is still often just waiting around the corner as Glinda gets impaled through the back by a hornet. To be continued.